Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen with a look at the patch notes for Star Citizen Alpha 3.3.0 PTU and the PTU 3.3.0 M patch. The PTU patch is available to all backers now. This patch does not contain all of the intended features for the 3.3 live build, which we will have in the near future. New features will be added iteratively into the PTU. Some features might not be implemented properly and may be a partial state or incredibly buggy or broken. This is just a PTU standard thing that happens where the game crashes or weird stuff happens. You are supposed to report those bugs. You are supposed to add to bug reports saying that you can replicate those bugs, that sort of stuff. That is how you can help in the PTU phase. The current testing focus is on the new Valkyrie, the Constellation Phoenix, the Hammerhead, the reworked Mustangs, the Cyclone variants, manned turrets, changes to ship cannons, power management, overpower, as well as overclocking ship systems and components. And there's a load of new features, so it has a voice over IP and face over IP. Settings can be accessed via the COM setting options menu, including basic options and webcam facial calibration, along with options to enable head look tracking. Voice over IP requires the numpad plus to activate and broadcast to party members, and if in the local area, via your natural voice. So this would be if people are nearby or your helmet's off, they'll be able to hear you without any sort of like weird reverberation, higher quality almost. So otherwise people will hear you on their helmet like headphones. And that's if you're going to be far away or if you're wearing a spacesuit in space or whatever, or if you're on comms with them. Numerous updates to the grouping and chat services have been made. They've added sliders for general mouse and mouse aim down sight sensitivity. They've added rest stop locations. They've added the repair, refuel, and rearm functionality previously associated with Cry Astro to all station landing pads on Pololisar, Levski, Grimhex, and at the rest stops. Note, repair the Mobi-Glass functionality no longer automatically pops up and will need to be manually selected via the service app. Quantum route planning has been added as well, so the star map now has route planning functionality that allows it to automatically plot multiple quantum travel point routes around obstacles. Please note though, functionality of this feature is still waiting on various UI elements, and it's in the PTU. As with all of these things, they don't work as intended or properly sometimes. They're a bit fiddly. Asteroid mining. Mineable resources can now be found in the asteroid belt around Yela and Daymar. Mission stuff, they've added the Scramble Race style missions. Scramble races are death races using ships in space and using vehicles such as the Urza or Cyclone or the Gravlev bikes, so the Nox and the Dragonfly, on moons. Races use a checkpoint system with each player who shoots if you're in a ship or moves over or near them if you're in a vehicle, a checkpoint, accruing a point towards victory. Additionally, players can destroy race leaders to gain their points. Please note that this system still has tasks pending again and may lack some functionality, and if not, entirely broken occasionally. Updated delivery missions to include a new delivery logger system, which makes those missions much easier to accomplish. Ships and vehicles, so they added the Cyclone variants, so the TR, the AA, and the RC. The Cyclone turreted, or the TR, includes a rear gunner position meant for combating infantry and ground vehicles. The AA has missiles and an EMP for dealing with threats from above. That EMP does make it quite strong at fighting things that are trying to attack it. It's not as offensively good because you'd have to, follow a ship, which would be quite hard. Defensively, great. The RC is the racing variant with a boost functionality as well. They've also added the RSI Constellation Phoenix, the Aegis Hammerhead, which is a big corvette. Well, I say big corvette, it's a small capital ship. It's a standard size corvette. They also added the Anvil Valkyrie, that heavy dropship. Coolers now use power and perform according to power allocation and can be overclocked. The Quantum Drive now performs according to its power state, including faster spooling calibration based on power and the ability to be overclocked. This is important because it takes a long time to calibrate to places now where you want to quantum travel. Turret gyro stabilization can be toggled via the interaction mode. Power target level can be set independently for each item on the ship MFDs, allowing them to be manually over or underpowered. They've added Hurston Dynamics Dominance and Attrition series of ship weapons, available in sizes 1 to 3 for the Dominance. They're basically high-quality scatterguns that fire more pellets as they build up heat. The Attrition series are available in sizes 1 to 6. They are laser repeaters that deal more damage via increased fire rates the hotter the weapon gets. Both weapons can be purchased at Grimhex Dumpers Depot, but may lack some functionality in their current states. They've done a complete rework of the Mustang series. I quite like it, and I'll talk about that in a minute. They've changed and reallocated support screen distribution on the Constellation series, suppressed collision warnings for vehicles in hover mode to avoid excessive audio spam. They've removed aim assist for turrets. Default loadouts on ships have been redone and will continue to be tweaked. They've increased damage of all ship cannons, lowered their fire rate, increased their heat generation, and swapped many to auto cannons that fire automatically, or, when you hold the button down rather than just, randomly automatically as you're flying around. Mass drivers and scatterguns have remained semi-automatic. They've updated heat and power MFDs. They've removed some of the scratches on the cockpit canopy interior of the Terrapin. They refactored item overheating behavior and overheating warning systems. They've added landing gear compression to the 85X, and they've added a scroll bar to MFDs. They've increased the afterburner velocity of the Hurricane, and they added landing gear compression to the Freelancer. Some of the FPS stuff, they've added FPS Combat AI. It's available as a mission to Security Post Korea or SPK. They've added motion warping to allow sliding during vaulting, depending on the object and destination that you're going to be ending up at. The Kastak Arms Kana Assault Rifle has been added as well. They've updated the pistol stock and shoulder inspect poses for more movement and control. They added a blue light to spin animations for the F-55. Players can now enter interact mode while inspecting a weapon. Refinements and improvements have been made to FPS weapon recoils. They sped up the animation speeds for the lean mechanics. Tweaks to the level of protection provided by personal armor. That's all been changed or updated in some way. Recoil and sway passes on the Gallant Energy Rifle have been done. They've updated numerous basic locomotion animations and smoothed out FPS movement and sway in and out of aim-down sights. So, kiosks, the PMA, the Personal Manager app, and VMA, the Vehicle Manager app, now all have functioning item previews. They updated the notification system with a new overall icon and new event-specific icons, including the ability to dismiss the alerts. They've removed the F11 and right alt menu / functions. Right, so some other feature updates. They polished and smoothed one-handed and two-handed place and pick-up animations. They updated the RSI Odyssey flight suits. They changed the mining power graph to reflect power transfer per time. They added a visual shaking effect to mining to help indicate the optimal range. The mining overcharge and danger bars now fill up faster the greater danger you are in. Extraction throughput while mining is now based on how long the beam hits the same location for. Instability while mining can now be lowered by holding the laser steady on the same point. So this adds a little bit more skill and a little bit more reason to actually beam at the same point rather than keep on moving it off to sort of like more precisely mine, which was obviously not intended. They reworked the way instability and resistance is calculated for mineable rocks. When mineable rocks fracture, the ore inside will be unevenly divided as it sort of like spreads out. The broken up chunks of mineable rocks should now have a radar icon when outside of the range of outlining. They've updated the mining resource quantities to create a thinner spread of high yields. They faded central elements of mining UIs out slightly to allow for better visibility. They've slowed down and polished the AI stair locomotions. When starting a linked quantum jump, the party list will now only show who started the jump with you. They replaced Levski elevators with a revamped system. They updated and polished the pickup and drop-off deliveries at outposts. They've updated Security Post Korea with new props, new geometry, and updated lighting. It also has a new layout. Cry Astro Station has been removed, as all services can now take place at rest stops and stations. They added new mineable materials to refinery kiosks and rebalanced commodity trade routes. So mining has had a nice little buff, or at least a pass over it, and a lot more functionality, a lot more balance there now. Bug fixes. So There was a huge slew of bug fixes from the 3.2 live to the 3.3 PTU build, and there's a load of bugs to fix for the 3.3 current PTU. Various UI, menu, and quality of life fixes have been made. They're sort of like also fixing loads of the problems with individual ship glitching. With 3.3.0M, they fixed an additional 5 client crashes and a server crash. So the 3.3.M patch also came up with some other updates as well. If you're asking to yourself, why is it an M patch? It's because the Evocati PTU tests used up all those other letters to that point, and when they make it go to a wider PTU, they just go, well, it was on L before, whatever, bam, let's put it on the next letter. That update re-enabled Scramble Race and Mission Visor HUDs. They updated the loadouts of Korea FPS Combat AI, so literally the NPCs that are walking around there have different stuff. They removed the instant rewards for killing FPS Combat AI and NPCs during the mission. I think I'm just going to refer to the FPS Combat AI as FPS Combat NPCs or FPS NPCs. FPS NPCs, boom, let's do that. Which will now be handed out at the end of missions. They added a rest stop model to the star map. They fixed head snapping during bed exits. There should no longer be a skin offset between the head and the body of the character in the customizer, you know, the seam that they occasionally have. The top part of the Valkyrie's rear door should now have collisions. They fixed an issue where players weren't dropping pickups in Arena Commander Battle Royale mode. Races abandoned by other players should no longer be able to be accepted by others afterward. The star map should no longer take several seconds to load. They fixed an issue where the objective UI wouldn't vanish after objectives are completed for scramble races. So there are still some major known issues with this patch. Inviting someone to a party via the Mobiglass causes client crashes. Invite via interaction mode, that is the safest way of doing it. In-game chat services may not be working correctly, so that is VoIP and FOIP, and I can attest to that. Ships rented from the front end do not show up in the ship selection list. Airlocks lack lighting, which makes them look like they are entirely pitch black. HUD vanishes when using a ground vehicle occasionally. Ships are able to quantum travel to locations, even if they don't have enough fuel to reach there. The visor chat channel doesn't work. As a workaround, you can hit the bell icon twice, though. If you're having issues joining the persistent universe in this patch and you're trying to play and buttons aren't working, literally when you're trying to choose where you want to join in the persistent universe, then when you're trying to join the PU after making a character, click the bottom right of the standard system button to join there. Just click it once and then wait for about a minute for the next screen to come up. Sometimes it can take a while and sometimes the buttons are offset, but that tip will cover both of those problems that seem to be relatively common. I haven't been able to find Levski in this build personally. VoIP doesn't seem to be working for me either, but I will keep on fiddling around with it. They did say that they were turning on and off VoIP and FOIP, but it might not work properly. That said, my frame rate is good, and it feels like a whole new game. Like, the frame rates are really good. The Mustang rework, I actually really like it. So a lot of people don't like this. I quite like it. Maybe it's just because it's got more function now. Maybe it's because it's got higher frame rates. I don't know, but I like the fact you can enter from the cockpit. I like the fact you can get out of your chair and walk around. And I like the way it feels and the way it flies. And I like the weapons it comes with on stock. It makes it feel very shooty. Pew, pew, pew. But I like the ship. And the fact that you'll be able to put cargo containers in its back, that's pretty cool as well. I will get a state of the game video up once we have a 3.3 live build, but continue to follow the patch updates for the PTU and live builds. Probably talk a little bit about them based on if they're actually fixing a lot or whatever. I might merge some of the patches together if they rapidly release multiple patches in a day. At the moment, I'm going to go into the 3.3 PTU phase and just record a load of B-roll in high frame rates. But also, I've got to go through all this CitizenCon, sort of like, I want to rewatch all of the panels before doing a video on them. But also, I did recently see that they, on the Star Citizen YouTube page, they released the higher quality version of their footage from CitizenCon for the keynote. So I'll do a even more cut down gamer cut of that like I've previously done in a much higher quality, and I'd get that done by the end of the weekend. But I want to cover loads and loads and loads and loads of things for 3.3 and CitizenCon and that sort of stuff over the next few days. My radar have provided a new Anvil Valkyrie to give away. All you need to do is to be subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my Star Citizen videos made during October. My Radar is a mobile app for iOS and Android that provides up-to-the-minute weather information in the US, Europe, and Japan, with service in Australia coming in by the end of 2018. It allows Star Citizen players to view detailed maps of the moons in-game as well, Yela, Selin, and Daymar. A new version will be released this month that includes new features, including outpost markers and updated maps. Also, if you're looking to get or upgrade a gaming PC, then consider Shadow instead. Shadow is a subscription-based cloud gaming PC service that can turn most devices, phone, laptop, PC, tablet, and more into a powerful gaming PC via the internets. Links to more info in the description for that, and if you do decide to try it, then use the code BoredGamer to get a discount on the service.